Know Your Candidate. Presented by Portland is Possible, broadcasted by XRAY FM. In this segment, we offer a brief background on the visionary candidates that are proudly standing and running for the acclaimed Portland Area City Council. For now, we have a candidate of District 4 that incorporates downtown, Slabtown, Chinatown, Lincoln, Hillsdale, Eastmoreland, Goose Hollow, and the Pearl District.
My name is Michael Trimble. I'm running for District 4 City Council, and I live in Goose Hollow. I live in Portland Towers, which actually overlooks Providence Park. The sites are amazing.
What attractions should Portland grow to make this a better place for people to live, play, and visit?
Well, obviously we could use a lot more parks, like Oak Park. There's like mini amusement parks. We could also do a lot of things in the current parks, like the McCall Park. A lot of times there are fairs, but sadly they're not affordable for a lot of low-income Portlanders. And so if we can make it more affordable with subsidies or where the city steps in to be able to help people afford them, so everybody can partake of the parks, the recreations, the hiking, and just make it more affordable.
What infrastructure or resources should there be to support culinary pursuits?
Well, the city does have a lot of money, and there's no reason why we can't spend that money on grants, scholarships, or maybe we could even have programs where the city pays their tuition, and in exchange, they agree to work for public housing or public programs, social services, in lieu of paying their tuition, because culinary is very important, and a lot of catering companies, I've spoken to small businesses who do that, and the city can definitely be the driving force to get culinary in there. And we could even maybe attract celebrity chefs like Gordon Ramsay. I love the man. I've actually been on the filming of one of his Hell's Kitchen premiere episodes, and let me tell you, it was very, very enlightening.
How should the City of Portland plan for future revenue needs?
We need to think outside the box. And right now, the 1% or the wealthy are not paying enough, and we need to tax the hell out of the wealthy. A lot of people don't remember, but during the World War II, at the time of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 1% were paying 90% of their income in taxes. And despite that, we had powerhouses like the Rockefellers earning millions, which would be trillions in today's dollars. And so we need to look at ways we can make them pay, whether it's an excise tax. If you can afford a Tesla, you can afford to pay $1,000 sales tax or an excise tax. Or we can even tax their profits. We can tax the sale of the homes they're selling for $1 million plus. We just need to get creative in being able to find the revenue to tax, because it is there. We just have to have somebody like me who will never be caught sitting on the sands doing nothing, holding these fat cats responsible and paying their fair share.
This region is one of the 10 most habitable, and therefore we should expect population growth. What is our responsibility to accommodate people who want to call Portland home?
Well, first and foremost, affordable housing. People should not be paying 60, 70, 80% of their income in rent. Next, we need to make sure that Portland is safe. And the way we do that is we actually need to find housing for a lot of the homeless. And the way that we do that is make sure that we get them into programs for if they're needing drug rehabilitation. I'm actually one of the very few candidates who is in favor of involuntary commitment to make sure that those suffering from drugs on the streets actually get the help whether they want it or not, because leaving them on the streets is not an option and it's not working. And I want Portland to become the third city in the country to have fair, free public transit. Albuquerque, New Mexico has already done it, and the fares that we pay to TriMet only go to actually fund 7% of the overall budget. And if we were fare free, the low income could afford it, and business people who live in downtown, work in downtown Portland, could use a reliable transit. And what I will also do is take the TriMet underground downtown Portland, so we can actually have more trips. The reason the MAX only has 2 cars is because of the size of the streets of downtown Portland. If they were underground, we could have 3 or 4 cars, we could have more trips, more frequency, and we could eliminate the bottleneck at the Steel Bridge. So affordable housing, fare free TriMet, and obviously safer biking. I would like us to adopt the Parisian model where they have no cars downtown, and it is all on foot, on bike, or on public transit. We can expand the streetcar and make it so much more greener and really make Portland even more beautiful than it already is.
100 years ago, Portland leaders established the Bull Run Reservoir to safekeep clean drinking water for future generations. What is one thing Portland should be doing now for future generations?
Right now, we have got to clean up the CI hub. I'm one of the few city council candidates who wants to decommission the entire site and force all of those companies like Zenith to take those toxic chemicals away. When the earthquake happens, and it will happen, we are going to be in a world of pain because paramedics are only trained to deal with one chemical at a time, and there are thousands of chemicals in the CAI hub. And we need to actually give us a list of all of the chemicals that are on the properties to make sure we can encounter them. But CAI hub, we've got to decommission it, make it safer, and make sure the soil is more robust because right now it's liquefying.
Lightning round. What is the most Portlandy thing you have seen this week?
Well, I started my new job at High Utilixam, so I really haven't had much time to see what Portlandy thing, but I guess the cheesy meatballs at 7-Eleven.
What's the last show or performance that you saw?
I just finished watching the 7th season of Grace and Frankie on Netflix. Are you talking about like a TV show or like an actual play? Yes, I mean Grace and Frankie. I'm very excited it's the last. And then before that, I watched the 8th season of Elite, and holy moly! If you have children, make sure they're nowhere around because it is TVMA for a reason. But very, very good. I guess the last show I watched was probably Phantom of the Opera when it came here 5 or 6 years ago. It's been a very long time.
What event or place in Portland that no longer exists do you wish you could bring back?
Obviously, Darcel. I don't know, am I allowed to stand up so people can see the back of my shirt? Okay, as you can see, I am an out and about candidate. I'm very proud to be out of and Darcel, we miss her dearly, and if we could bring her back, we could definitely do that.
Should Portland offer a universal basic income for artists?
Absolutely. I've spoken to too many struggling artists who can barely make ends meet, and then they receive eviction notices, and then it begins a whole vicious cycle of homelessness. Yes, yes, and yes. And I would also offer basic income for those who are struggling on the streets.
Where do you get your coffee?
I don't. I actually make my own tea. Well, this is a water bottle, but I make my own tea, and I am a black tea. The more caffeine, the better. And actually, speaking of tea, let me get a little sip real quick. But if I had to go to a tea place, I don't know, because I just make my tea myself.
So now you know your candidate, or a bit about them. We like to thank the visionary candidates, also like to especially thank all the volunteers and organizations that put this together. We couldn't do this without you. To look at each candidate, be a good Portland citizen, and to be a dashing and informed voter, listen to XRAY FM to learn about ballots and the new ranked choice voting system. And check out portlandpossible.org.